Today, I was thinking I can answer one of the questions that was asked. I'm going to read out the question and um, address part of it because it could be a lot, but I'll try to answer as much as I could. But I want to give a context and introduction before we get into the details of this question. Um, the question is, we surrendered to Krishna. After that, how much effort we need to keep? According to previous discussions, to apply us, we will do our best effort and leave rest and results to Krishna. Also, this effort varies depends on ashram and level. Could you please discuss on practical things to apply? So this question is by Shanta Mataji. She asked, wants us to discuss about answer about how much we have to do if you have surrendered, how much we have to do and what we are supposed to do, some practical tips and things like that. We say surrendered, we say we are devotees, then do we have to do all the details and everything, or because we are devotees, it is simply good enough that we simply chant and do a couple of services and you know that's it. Why do we have to get into the details of all those different details of on day-to-day life? Why we have to do? Sometimes devotees, people have ideas, and even devotees have idea. Prabhu, let's not be fanatic. Just be practical. Why we have to do? Why we have to take shower on a day this many times? Why only we have to wear dhoti? Why we have to keep tilak? Why we have to do etc etc etc. It's all to do with devotion, bhakti. We don't need to express our bhakti by wearing dhoti, wearing saris, tilak and kantimala, and we don't need to do any of this thing. And be practical. We are not in age-old ancient time period. We are in 2025. Things have changed and we also have to change. So what we really have to do is simply chant. Don't get into the details of how we eat, what we eat, where we go, what we do. None of those things really matter because Krishna himself said that you just surrender to me until I am yours. I will take care of you everything. Don't need to do anything. Correct? That's what surrender means, and that's what we've been hearing so far. So this is all I'm going to combine everything into this particular question that's been asked by Shanta Mataji, and hope you got the question. So question is to understand how much we really have to put effort on all this thing. Is there a limit to, I'm extending the question, is there a limit to it? We are all surrendered, um, or just do what the best you can do and leave the rest to Krishna, which is what we have been telling. Um, and and also the our effort is depends on the ashrama, which ashrama we fall into, and what level within that ashrama. It's a nice question. So let's see if we can address this question. It is said in Vishnu Purana that varna-ashrama acharavatu purushena parapuman Vishnur aradhyate pantaha nane tattosha karanam. Prabhupada also mentions this in his writings that varna-ashrama varna-ashrama acharavatu purushena parapuman Vishnu aradhyate pantaha nane tattosha karanam. That is, worshipping of Supreme Personality of Godhead is by properly executing one's prescribed duty in the system of Varna and Ashrama. I'm just reading Prabhupada's purports here. So, uh, Prabhupada's translation that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashrama. There's no other way to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of four varnas and four ashramas. We all know what the varnas and what the ashramas are. Therefore, we have to be situated in whatever ashrama we are in, number one. Number two is not only situated, we have to do the prescribed duties of that particular system, in that system prescribed and recommended by the sages in that particular ashrama. So, this is a beautiful sloka from Vishnu Purana. Therefore, one has to follow their varna and ashrama, and that pleases Krishna. If one follows their ashrama to the best, and that's an easy way to please Krishna, an easy way to attain Krishna. And this sloka is told by Parasara Muni in Vishnu Purana. Um, Therefore, we must do our we must do the ashrama, but the way that we have to do our respective ashrama is with bhakti. Now, one may say, well, I'm already doing bhakti. Is just doing, is that not good enough? I'm doing some worship, harati at my house to the deity, and I chant. Is that all good enough? Why do we have to think about the details beyond that point? Well, answer as per the sage Parasara, it is not enough. Just because you are doing bhakti does not mean that you should not follow your ashrama. Please understand, this is a very important point. Just because I'm doing my bhakti, that does not mean I give up my responsibilities and duties of that particular ashrama. One must perform the duties of their respective ashrama, and that will help them to enhance their bhakti. Hmm? What we are doing right now, um, one second, I need to plug in my laptop. I just realized it's not been plugged. It's going to shut down. One second. I'm back. So what we are doing right now is not enough. Is not enough. As per, at least as per Parasara Rishi, Parasara Muni, where he says you got to follow your ashrama dharma. Hmm? Um, yes, we are doing what is being told, like chanting and going to the temple and worshipping and giving donations and eating prasadam. All those things is good, but we need to do more. Let's take an example. Why even we have to do more when we are already engaged in bhakti? First question may come: why we have to do extra more than this one? Um, for kindly wait until we end, because to get the full essence of what the message is. Otherwise, it's just not going to help. You have to hear the whole point that I'm trying to make here. So, why do we have to do what we are supposed to do? Let me give you an example. Let's see. Okay. No, anyway, so if we send our children to school, right? We send our children to school. What is the purpose of we wanting to send our children to school? Um, Sujata Mataji, why you are sending the kids to school?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, to let them get educated, which helps them in their career.
Correct, exactly. I do that, you do that, all the parents do that because we want them to graduate and find a job or whatever they want to do, but be successful in their life. That's the goal. The goal is for them to get well educated, right? Now you're getting a letter from school saying that your son, your daughter was not wearing the right dress as per our code, right? So you're going to tell, well, that is not your business. The reason I joined my kid to the school is to get educated. Why are you worried about how they dress, how they speak, where they eat, how they talk, how they behave? Why are you worried about? You don't go and talk to the administration, school administration, or the principal. Don't worry about those things. Just my child is studying well, getting all A plus. Why are you worried about her behavior? Why are you worried about how she dress, where he eats, what she eats? Will you be able to go and say this message to the school authority? No. Even though the prayojana, the angi part, which is prayojana part, is to get educated. The anga, the limbs for one to accelerate, enhance that education part is the disciplinary aspect, which is part of the education. Agreed, everyone? So far, this is a point. So therefore, yes, bhakti is what we want to attain. Krishna is what we want, whom we want to attain. But within that, we have the disciplinary aspect. There are certain things that we have to follow and do. We cannot say, my only goal is to attain Krishna. Everything else really doesn't matter. How I behave with the devotees, how I talk, how I think, how I eat, what I eat. Should I wash my feet before eating? Should I wash my hand after eating, even if I use spoon? It doesn't really matter. Those are all very fanatic, Prabhu. We don't need to be worried about it. Whether I have to do this puja, that puja, don't worry about all those things because I am a surrendered soul. Does it make sense? What I'm trying to give an example? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It goes hand in hand. The certain practices that we are, as in particular ashrama that we are trying to do, are the anga for the angi. Angi is the final thing, prayojana or the goal of Krishna's prema, Krishna's love, to attain Krishna. But these things that we are trying to do, how we sit, how whether we have to wear dhoti, whether we have to have tilak, all those things are nothing but the anga for that angi. We cannot just take it for granted or take that as an exceptional thing, not a mandatory condition for one to follow. So it's an important thing that when the student goes to school, not only the teachers are looking for the grade, they're looking for the children's behavior, their attendance, their desk code, their additional skills and attributes, how they behave with the classmates. All those things matters. That really matters. It's just not only getting good grade is important for the children to go to school. Everything matters. Likewise, we also have in every ashrama, there are rules that's been set. Even though the ultimate goal of all the ashramas is to attain Krishna's love, attain Krishna, but there are rules that set into each and every ashrama that everyone have to strictly try to follow to the best. Okay, that's very important. Um, what Coming back to that example of why the children have to eat in a common place, why children have to have certain dress code, why can't they wear anything, at least if it is in India I can tell is a uniform. Here there is no uniform, at least majority of the school there's no uniform, but at least the policy is that you cannot within, even though there's no uniform, but there's a dress code. You cannot go with certain dress, or you cannot wear any type of dress for that matter because there's no uniform, right? So if it's a uniform concept, that means you see everyone is equally, right? You sit and eat one place, you mingle with people, you don't get isolated, you're being treated equally. And these are some behaviors that the children learn when they go to school, to eat in one place with everyone, right? And then dress in certain way that you're not different or special than the other kid. All those things are indirectly teaching for the children's how they have to grow, even internally. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, especially in the following the ashrama dharma, there are rules that set for us to grow and mature in our bhakti. It's the same thing. That is why it is said that we have to wear dhoti or we have to wear certain dress code when you come to the temple or when you're doing some puja. We have to have tilak in our, we have to have neck beads, we have to have certain things, how you have to enter the altar room or how you have to enter your puja room. You don't go to the you don't go to the you don't go to the barber shop and go straight into the altar room, right? You don't go to the crematory, attend a funeral, and you go straight into the altar room or a temple room or thing. There are things. These are all behaviors. These are all certain things that we have to, as ashrama, is part of our ashrama, that we have to follow. We have to follow. Now comes an interesting contrary statement of what I just said. Remember what I said, that Parasara Muni says, varna-ashrama acharavatu purushena parapumanu Vishnu aradhate pantaha nane tattosha karanam. That is the best way to worship aradhana. Best way, we remember ara now by reading aradhyate, right? So by worshipping, the best way of worshipping aradhana, but best way of performing aradhana to Vishnu is by following one's varna-ashrama-dharma. Following the varna-ashrama-dharma. Now, to contrary of all this, what Krishna says is quite interesting. Krishna says, apichettu duracharah bhajate mam ananya bhak sadur evacha mantavyah samyak vyavastito hi sah. Krishna says completely different than what Parasara Rishi says. He says that it doesn't matter how abominable action that one must have performed, how bad he is, whether he follows this or doesn't follow this one, however he is, but I consider if he engaged in my service, if he surrendered to me, then I considered him to be a sadhurevasa sama mantavya. He says that I consider that person to be a sadhu. Now, should I follow? Should I understand that? How do I understand? Should I understand? Go with what Parasara says, or should I go with what Krishna says? Krishna, how do we understand this one? It's quite difficult to understand. Um, Maybe the sages and brahmanas are made up all this thing to create a fear in people's heart. Therefore, they said, you do this one. If you don't do this one, you'll get punished. If you don't wash your feet after using the restroom and doing this one, then Papa will come, you will suffer, right? And they made up a story of a king who did not do this one, and therefore his family suffered, he suffered. They made up all these wonderful stories so that they can create a fear. And for that, you have to do a prayachitta. Prayachitta means you have to invite a sage, you have to invite a brahmana. You have to invite a brahmana means you have to give sambhavana. Sambhavana means you have to give a charity or a donation to him to perform a thing. Therefore, this is all business. The Brahmanas have made a business using all the scriptures so that they can make their living. It's not real. People may argue or people may say certain things. Because why? Krishna says you don't need to follow anything. You don't need to follow anything. But here there says, how do we combine when Vishnu Puran, Parasara says you have to follow everything as per your varna-ashrama dharma, where Krishna says in the other hand in Bhagavad Gita, he says it doesn't matter if you surrender, I'll just take care of you. It just doesn't matter what you follow or what you don't follow. It doesn't matter for me. So these two contradictory statements, it appears to be so. But how do we understand this? So let's understand a small analogy here. I have two statements. I'm going to say two statements. You please help me here. I am saying statement one. Fire burns everything. Is that a true statement or not? Thumbs up. Yes. Fire burns everything. Statement one. Now I'm telling a statement two. That is, the water puts off the fire. Is it true or wrong? Thumbs up if it is true. Or these contradictory statement or the fact? Fire burns everything. We know that fire burns everything. But I'm also saying water puts off the fire. Parasara Muni says that you have to follow everything. Krishna says it doesn't matter, yaar. It doesn't matter, yaar. How do we understand these two things? How do we understand? Please understand, it is not contrary, it is to glorify each one. Now, the first statement of the fire burns everything is to tell that to convey the greatness of the fire. It conveys the greatness of the fire, that fire burns everything. When we say the statement that the water puts off the fire, it shows the greatness of the water. Greatness of the water. The purpose of conveying this message is two different aspects. One is to convey the greatness of the fire, and another one is to convey the greatness of the water. Does it make sense? Now, what Parasara is saying that when he says the fire can burn everything, that means our sins, when we have to relate to the first statement, fire burns everything, where Parasara says that you better follow everything, otherwise you will be punished. That means if you don't follow any of this thing, that is as per your varna-ashrama-dharma, your sins will burn you. Your sins will burn you. That's the idea of that statement. Now Krishna says that when you are trying to do your varna, please hear carefully, please be attentive, do not multitask. This is important for all of us in our life. So kindly listen. Otherwise, you have to go back and listen again. You may want to otherwise also. So when Krishna says you don't worry about anything, it's like water putting off the fire, which means, please hear, there's a thin line of difference here. You follow everything. You follow everything. If at all you fail to complete, if at all you miss out anything, if at all you make any mistakes in what you've been following to your best, I am like a water will put off the sins of the reaction that you may get out of it. Again, I'm repeating this one. The fire burns everything. If we don't follow the scriptures, if we don't do according to our varnashrama system, we have to do the varnashrama. We have to follow our ashrama. If you have some reason, if I'm not able to do something, then you get a sin. What Krishna says is, you do your best. Because you're unable to complete whatever it is, the sin may affect you, but I am like a water, will remove that sin. Is that clear? Hari Puja Mati, nod your head or not?
Prabhu, like,
Yes.
No, one second. Yes. Is that clear, Hari Puja Mataji?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Arun Prabhu, just hold on to your question, okay?
sure, Prabhu.
I may lose my flow of thoughts then. If you don't mind, please write down your question. We'll come back. Otherwise, if I get into the question now, then I won't be able to finish what I want to convey here. Please write
Sure,
down.
Prabhu.
We'll come back again to the question session later.
Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you. So we also have to understand that will Krishna ever say that do not follow dharma? But Krishna says, where does he say? Sujata Mataji is smiling. Please tell the sloka. Unmute.
I didn't remember that, Prabhu, but yeah, again, like Krishna is.
No, the sloka. The last Charma sloka. Please say that.
Sarvadharman parityaj.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Haripuja Mataji or me, Prabhu?
Yeah, Mataji, go ahead. You are very good in recitation.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma suchah.
So what does it mean? Give up all your dharma. That means what? Your varna-ashrama dharma, or whatever you are following, give up everything. Correct? That's what Krishna says. Sarva dharma parityajya. Parityajya means just renounce everything. Give up all your dharma. Whereas Parasara says, follow the dharma, varna-ashrama-acharavati. Parasara says follow the dharma, Krishna says give up the dharma. What's happening here? Is there some problems with the Parasara and Krishna? They have some relationship issue. They have to work with our Vrajavihari Prabhu to make them sit and personal conflict resolution. All those things has to be done. What needs to be done here? Something the problem here, right? But please understand. Go back to now. I'm going to ask another sloka. Whoever can recite, tell that sloka. Where the sloka where Krishna says his purpose of appearance. He gives reasons, 3 reasons. So, is anyone else can tell that sloka? It is in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone else?
Janma karma cha maybe.
Anyone else? Sujata Mataji, anyone else?
परित्राणाय साधूनां
Go ahead, Soumya. Please go ahead.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
What is the third pada? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. Means what? One of the reason I come here is to re-establish the dharma. He said in the 4th chapter, looks like he has some memory loss problem. In 18th chapter, he totally forgot what is like me, like us. We say something and we'll forget, right? Prabhu, did I tell you this one? I'm sorry, Prabhu. I forgot. I think you misunderstood what I said. Maybe Krishna is similarly having a problem like us, that Esau told something in the 4th chapter. I appeared to re-establish his dharma. And in the 18th chapter, he says, Sarva dharman parityajya, Sarva dharman parityajya, leave up every dharma. What? What's happening here? What's happening here? Therefore, we should understand Krishna is not preaching us to give up our dharma, but to give up the attachment towards the result of the dharma that we are doing. Please make it clear. We have to do our dharma, but the result that comes out again for this sloka, there are many, many commentaries, beautiful commentaries are there. I'm just speaking that's essential for our discussion here. Okay. Because give up the dharma means give up that result of the dharma that you're trying to do. Not give up the dharma. That is what Krishna will never ever do that to tell that do not follow your dharma. When Aditi comes to come to our house, we have to take care of them, right? The guest comes to our house. That is also a dharma. Now Krishna told Prabhuji, you come to my house. Krishna, I've given up all the dharma. Do what, eat whatever you want, take whatever you want. I'm not going to give you anything because I've given up the dharma. So given up the dharma, I will not take care of the guest. I will not give respect to the parents. I will not do my whatever the daily anushtana, the practices that I don't need to do anything. That's not what Krishna is trying to say. And that's not Krishna will ever promote. So we should understand the point what Krishna is trying to make is you do your dharma, you do your varna-ashrama-dharma, but don't get attached to the results of the varna-ashrama-dharma. You do your karma yoga or you do your jnana yoga, you do your bhakti, but don't think that alone will take you to the end result. It's me who has to help you. So have these ideas, clear understanding of what that sarvadharman parityaja means. Do your best. But when you're doing your best, I will not consider the mistakes that you make. Right? That is where Krishna comes as a water to put off the fire of the sins that we may accumulate while we are performing our dharma. So if anyone argues that following the rules of varna-ashrama dharma is not needed, there's not at all needed. Even sometimes devotees have this idea, we don't need to follow the varna-ashrama. We don't need to follow the varna-ashrama. We don't need to follow dharma. Then whoever is speaking, then why they're going to job? Why are they taking money? Why are they feeding their children? Why they are doing whatever they are supposed to do? It's all part of dharma, grahastha ashrama. If you don't want to follow those things, you're telling that it's not part of the whole culture, then why are you doing all this thing? You're doing it, but you're not calling that as a varnashrama. That's all it is. You're doing all the dharmas of a grahastha ashrama, but you don't want to put under the title called varna ashrama system. You name it something else, whatever that may be. That's not right. right? So people may argue these things. So that's one reason that we should understand. Now, please understand, this is the first part. We understand the first part, and we move on to second reasoning, second view of what this is. That is, the way that we see our life is different than the way that the sages sees our life. Okay, we see our life in certain angle, and the great sages, they see the lives in a certain different angle. What are the two different angles? We have to understand this also. We think that we have taken birth in this world. Now it is my responsibility to make an effort to give a life to my life, to make it successful. Make sense? I've repeated, I've taken birth into this world. Now it is because I came into this life, into this world. Now I have to do and make all the effort to bring life to my life. Yes? Okay. This is our vision. Now, what a sage thinks is quite interesting. They say that your life is already be given to you. You're already successful in your life. That is their vision. There is no effort need to make on your part to bring life into your life. You're taking life itself as successful in your life. It's quite confusing. Or not? Is it clear? There's a thin line of difference between how we think and how the sages think. Okay. Now, the reason that we have taken birth, in Tamil language, there is one statement says, Aridu, Aridu, Manidarai Pirappadu Aridu. If you want to translate, it says, Durlabham Durlabham Manushya Janmam means that it is very, very rare and difficult to get a human form of life. That is what I said in Tamil, also the same statement. So it is very rare to get a human form of life. We have to pancha hahuti. There are 5 stages that one has to go through to come into. That will take another 10 minutes to explain anyway. So one has to go through different from the sky. One comes into the water, clouds, enters the clouds. They've been thrown out of the heaven. When the person is thrown out of the heaven, when the credit points are over, they're thrown into the clouds and they come into a rain, and rain falls into the ground, and from the ground it gets into some of the grains, and the grains enter into the purusha, and from purusha it goes to a stree, and from the stree a garbha forms and the child comes out. This is a panchahuti. 5 stages we pass through. At any stage of this, one may miss out an opportunity. The rain may fall in the desert, in some place where there don't know any harvest happens, or even it falls in the nice fertile land that may not become a plant. Not necessary. Even if it become a grain or a plant, it could be eaten by an animal or by a worm, not necessarily a human, right? Say human has consumed that grain. That means the Jivatma now entered into a Purusha, right? A man. And not necessary every Jiva enters into a man is going to take birth. We all know the science. We have studied these things, right? In a given a drop of doctors, Atulananda Prabhu is not here, or he doesn't need any science to be a doctor to understand this one. A drop of a sperm contains many living entities, right? That enters into the womb of a woman, a mother. I'm saying mother, right? So the to be mother. And not necessarily everything that enters into the mother takes birth. There's a competition. I want to go, I want to go, I want to take birth, I want to. There's a heavy competition between the Atmas inside. But out of many, many such hundreds and thousands of that living entities, one get connected, gets the right match, gets a right match. Now the problem, even after the match has been made with the Jivatma, not necessary. That is why the conceived mother does not convey the message to the world until minimum at least for 3 months. Yes or no? Mataji knows here. They wait for 3 months and wait for a little longer also to make sure everything is perfect, everything is right. So they can tell Prabhu, we are on family way, we are expecting Mata. They tell everyone. They don't, sometimes they don't even tell to their own parents. They wait, right? This happens in life, family life. That means anything could happen in the 3 months' time. Well, after 3 months, is that guaranteed? Again, not guaranteed. You got to wait for 9 total months, 9 to 10 months. You have to wait. Anything could happen inside the womb of the mother to the child. Now the delivery is ready, the baby is going to come out. Even at the time of delivery, there's a high risk. Right before the delivery, when you do the periodic check and people, doctor may tell, oh no, the baby has turned upside down. Oh my God, there's another problem, right? Or sometimes the mothers may have those, I'm forgetting the names, ladies, you have all sort of small, some things forms into the womb, which creates another issues for the mother. I'm not good in these terms. Anyway, happen. Or the umbilical cord can, get, tie the neck of the baby and something could happen to the baby. So many chances for the baby to get into this problem. If there's, after all this chance and difficulties, the baby comes out successfully. Successfully. It's not an easy job. It's not a joke. In one sense, it's a big gamble for the parents to get a child, right? We all know that. So therefore, aridu manidarai pirappadu aridu durlabam manusya janmam. It's very, very rare to get the human form of the life. Therefore, the sages are telling that your life, if you've taken a life as a human, your life is already made. That's their point. Does it make sense? Don't think that you have to make your life now. Your life has been already made successful because you have taken a birth as a human. That's their point of argument. But what do we think is, now that I am born into this world, now I have to make a life to make it successful. But our vision is materialistic vision and their vision is spiritualistic vision. That's the difference. They think spiritually and we think materially. Now that I've taken birth, I need to study. I need to get into a good college. I need to get into I do need to get a good grade. I need to get a good join a good college and then good good what is that job and then good spouse and good children and save some money and then have this one that one. This is all will make my life perfect and successful. That I have to put an effort to make all this thing to make my life successful. Sages says your life is already successful because we have taken a human form of life. Does it mean I need to do nothing? I shouldn't be doing anything? Well, if someone nowadays, we know that the culture is you give a glass of water, you ask your child to bring a glass of water, you take the water, and what you have to say to the child? Exactly. Thank you. To your own son, to daughter who brings a glass of water, and once you get, you have to thank you, Pandu, right? Whatever you call your kid. Thank you. Right? You have to thank everyone that we try to. We are thanking everyone. We thank the person who gave us a job. That we thank our person who fed us. In many ways we thank people uh, throughout our life. Throughout our life. But we need to understand the purpose of our life, which has been given to us, is to thank who has given this life to us. Are we showing our gratitude and are we conveying our thanks to that who was given, that person who has given the life to us? Are we doing enough of thanks to that person who has given life to us? It's an important question. I was, even we go to the extreme of thanking a person when you drive on the road. This happens, right? If someone gives you a way, they stop and gives you a way, you lower your window, you wave your hand. What is it? Thank you for giving me way. For that person who just gave a little gap for us to enter into the road lane, we are saying thanks. For that person who has given a big road for us, shown us the road, how much thankful are we? How much gratitude are we showing to that person? So let it be clear to us. It is not that I must do something to make my life or bring life into my life by making all our material things nicely. The life is already made successful for us. How do you know that? We are born as a human. We are already born as a human. Our life is successful in that sense. If you are not born as a human, just imagine our situation. It's worst. It's worst. So the point here is that the materialistic person also does the same thing, and the spiritualistic person also, even though there's a thin line of differences, the activity performed by the materialistic person and the spiritualistic person is the same. Now comes the important point. The materialistic person eats food, makes money by going to the job, takes care of the family, and have the house, pay the bills, and does all those things. Materialistic person does that one. The spiritualistic person eats food, makes money, go to the job, makes money, and takes care of the family, does everything. Yes or no? So, oh, so what? Materialistic person does the same activities. I'm also doing the same activities. So what's the difference? The difference is in the consciousness. The consciousness, not the activities that we are doing. It's on the consciousness that we have while we're performing that activity. The materialistic person also goes to the temple, does worship. He or she also chants Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam, Bhajagovindam, and all those Hare Krishna Mahamantra for that matter. Also, some people chant. Materialistic people does all those things. Even they come to temple and do for some services for that matter. And even they give some donation to the temple. Materialistic people do all this thing. I also go to the temple. I also chanting. I also do services. I also give donation. I also do all these different things. So what is the big change? What's the big differences between both of us? The difference is the first category, the first person, when he does chanting, he is worshipping, he is doing all those different things. He is doing for his own pleasure. Simple, correct? He is doing all this chanting business or giving services or giving donations or doing puja at home, all those different things. He is doing for his growth, material growth, or is for his own pleasure. Whereas the second category of the person does everything, does chanting, does puja, does go to the temple, engage in the service, give the donation, but he does for the Lord's pleasure. Lord's pleasure. That's where the vision changes. Therefore, the sages are making us to think in this angle, not on that angle. That we are, the Lord has made us a human. The Lord has given us given us the intelligence. The Lord has given us the senses. The Lord has given us this body. The Lord has given us the interest towards Him. The Lord has shown us the association of the devotees. The Lord has connected us to the Guru, and the Guru has connected us to the Gopas and Gopis and Lalitas and Sakis, and they have connected us to Radharani, and Radharani has connected us to Krishna. Hope it all resembles something. I'm still waiting for the answer though. I've hidden the answer into what I just said. It's your smartness to find the answer. All right. Now, but I'm expecting the answer. Now, what are we doing to him now? That's a question. The Lord has done all these things to us. He's given all this thing to us. What am I doing to him in return? How am I showing my gratitude? That's a question that we should all ask to ourselves. Are we doing enough to Krishna for what he has done in my life? Or are we still complaining that Krishna, my life is like this? I know you still have not done completely for me. I have this problem. I have not found a job. My children is like this. My parents are like this. Krishna, going on complaining to rest of my life, or are we being seeing the positive of what Krishna has done so far in our life and what is still continuing to do nice in our life in spite of we going and complaining about what he's done or what he's doing? That's something we have to think about deeply in our heart. That Krishna, whatever he does, here is another point to understand. Whatever Krishna does, if Shanta Mataji is here and listening, do not think that I'm going out of the topic of your question. It's all related to the question. So please understand, you have to just bring your question in connection to what has been shared here. Then we can understand how much we have to do, what we have to do, and what in case if we are not able to do. Everything is in this answered in this particular session. I'm just taking an opportunity of your question to elaborate and give more details to make a thought-provoking, want to make it as a thought-provoking discussion or a lecture. That's all right? Now, what we have to understand is when Krishna is trying to help us, trying to do us, how is he doing? How Krishna is helping us? How Krishna is providing what we need in our life? How does Krishna do? If you want a water and you're really thirsty and you're saying that I need water, Krishna, is Krishna going to come and give you a glass of water directly? Is he will do, but we all know he Krishna will do, but we have to think about ourselves. Are we in that level where Krishna can directly come and give us a glass of water or feed us? Yeah. In Maharashtra, there's a great devotee by name called Namadev. Great. You have to read the stories of Tukaram, Namdev, and many great saints for that matter. Many of them are there. Jnaneshwar. If you read all the stories, it's amazing. Amazing. And believe these sages are not in different yugas. They are all this yugas. And likewise, you read the stories of Puri Jagannath. It's not the stories from the previous yuga. It's all happened during this yuga itself, right? Namdev and these great saints, sons, they fed Krishna. They used to put, the way that we offer our bhoga to Krishna, please understand, is not that we offer and take it to Krishna's mouth directly. That is not our system of worship. We don't feed Krishna to his mouth directly, lotus mouth directly. We are not qualified. We cannot do that one. That is why we offer anything that we offer to the Guru Parampara. We are just an instrument, right? The Guru will do the offering on behalf of us, that we offer through Guru Parampara. That's how it is. And even when it comes to the ultimate topmost personality, they have a right to offer to Krishna, but it is said even when you're offering, you keep it in the hands of Krishna, not to the mouth of Krishna. We are not going to feed Krishna to his mouth. We'll keep it in his hand of Krishna. That's how. Anyway, those are deity worship rules and things that we should be aware of. Coming back to our point here, what was I saying? That yeah. So when we want water, Krishna is not going to come and give us directly water, but Krishna has appointed an agent called Varna-devata. Through Varna-devata, we get water. Well, I want I want to heat something. I want to cook. If you want to cook, you need fire. Then Krishna has appointed a person called Agni Devata. So the Agni Devata, with the help of Agni Devata, we cook. Likewise, Krishna has appointed several devatas on different departments. All those departments are there to facilitate our needs. Mother Earth, Sun, Moon, rain, air, the space, vacuum space, and darkness is another devata, and the light. All those things are important, are appointed by the Lord to us in our life. Therefore, Krishna is not going to give us directly, he gives us what we need in our life through these devatas, to the devatas. Therefore, we have to, as part of varna-ashrama-dharma, we also show our gratitude to the devatas. It is important that we do not disrespect the devatas. It is not necessary. We understand the positions of devatas and we understand the position of Krishna. That doesn't mean that we neglect or disrespect the devatas. That's an important point to understand. Very important. Sometimes we've been seen badly or been criticized for speaking bad about the devatas. So this is the point. We understand the position of Krishna and where the devatas fit into. Therefore, we also show our gratitude to the devatas, keeping Krishna, who is a Paramatma or Antaryami, within the devatas as well. Finally, when we do something to the devatas, it is ultimately Krishna who is being pleased. Krishna is going to be pleased. Therefore, we have to follow the dharma, varna-ashrama dharma. We have to follow the grahastha-ashrama dharma. If we don't follow the grahastha-ashrama dharma, then we will be punished. Here's the important point. If you don't follow the grahastha-ashrama dharma according to the prescribed duties, then we'll be punished. But if we follow the grahastha-ashrama dharma, not that we'll be awarded, but we will in a good terms. No, it doesn't make sense. If I do something nice, then I have to be awarded. If I do something, I have to be punished. What you're saying, Prabhu, is if you do something wrong in Grihastha Ashrama Dharma, you'll be punished. If you do everything perfectly, it's good. Now that you'll get rewarded, it is good. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it will make sense if I give you an example. So, Amohanam Prabhu, are you Amohanam Prabhu, are you still driving or not driving? You're still not driving. You're completely dependent on Krishna. Okay. Now I only have Sujata Mataji. Sujata Mataji, you drive?
No, Prabhu. I don't. I depend.
You're dependent on your Purusha husband. This is complete dependency, my God. Hari Puja Mataji was there for a moment and she disappeared. Hari Puja Mataji, do you drive?
Yes, Prabhu, I try.
And not your husband, the car I meant.
Both.
You
Prabhu.
drive both. You are a very skilled person, that means. You are very, very skilled. Please don't talk to my wife hereafter. Okay, now let's come to serious subject matter here. This is a problem. I get into Prajalpa very easily. Now, when you're driving, Hari Puja Mataji, you drive on Dorset Road. What's the speed limit over there in the Dorset Road?
30, Prabhu.
30 miles per hour, right? You drive 30 miles per hour every day? You drive, I mean, not every, what I meant to ask is, you drive as per the speed limit when you drive?
Yeah, around, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's fine. Plus or minus is fine. But then, do you get any time, have you ever got a reward from the Department of Police or Traffic saying that for past 3 years, you've been on the speed limit? Here is an award for you. Have you ever received?
No, Prabhu, no.
My God, so sad. But then just imagine now you're driving in the 30 mile speed, you're driving 50 or 41, 42, 45, right?
Yes.
What happens?
Police will caught.
Did you go when the police comes in and you are going over speed, you tell, oh, Prabhuji, police Prabhuji, I've been driving all these days perfectly on the speed limit. You never awarded me, stopped me and awarded me, gave you a badge to put here. Now you, one day I failed. Why are you calling and punishing me? That's exactly what happened. In our ashrama dharma, we follow everything because that is our duty. It's our duty. You don't do that one, you're failing to do that one, therefore you're punished. Veda pranihito dharmaha adharmatat viparyayaha. It is said that one has to, what is said in the Veda, one has to follow as per the Veda. If you don't follow what is as per the Veda, then it is called adharma. Then you're calling to a second category, adharma. I have not told yet what are those dharmas, what is the grahastha has to be followed. Those are all different topic altogether. I'm setting a stage here to understand the importance of what we are taken as a duty, as a responsibility, as a grahastha. Therefore, this is important that we follow a grahastha ashrama dharma. Therefore, the Lord, when he reciprocates to us, he reciprocates to the devatas. So therefore, we show our gratitude through the devatas. And who are the others through which God helps us? Krishna helps us. One is Devata, right? Who could be the other group of set of category of personalities? The Lord helps us. You can think of
Guru.
Devotees.
Guru.
Gurus, devotees, rishis, sages, munis, you call anything, right? Correct? Right? This is called rishis. They all fall into the categories of rishis. How does the rishi help us? How Krishna appoints rishi to help us?
Books.
Exactly. They have given us the Puranas, Itihasas, Kavyas, all the wonderful Granthas, Vedas for that matter, written into the way that we can, study the Vedas. So these are all given by the rishis. Rishis have given everything for us. The devatas are giving us all the natural needs, necessities for us: air, water, fire, ether. The devatas are giving all Mother Earth, sun, moon, stars, night. Right? All this is given by the devatas. Krishna is giving this thing to us, to the devatas. And Krishna is giving the literatures and scriptures to us. How, now that you come into the existence of life, you made a Manushya Janma. Now you start reading the scriptures that is written by the rishis. Now we have to show our gratitude to who? First, we have to show our gratitude to the devatas. Next, we have to show our gratitude to who? Rishis. To rishis. So the devatas are giving us facilities, all the faculties, and the rishis are given us the guidelines and the scriptures how to lead our life. And this is not good enough for us, but we have to be thankful for someone who has introduced or brought us into this world. Who are they?
Parents.
Parents.
Exactly. Our parents. Our parents. Our parents is not good enough. And because their parents does not come, just fall from the sky somewhere. Who gave the parents to us?
Forefathers.
Exactly. You went to top, instead of me spending 2 minutes on who gave, ancestors. Pitru. My parents are given by my grandparents. My grandparents are given by great-grandparents, and then therefore ancestors. Right? The Pitru Varga. The Pitru. Therefore, we have to be thankful for our ancestors, our parents. There's a deeper meaning of celebrating Mother's Day and Father's Day and all these different days. It's not just sending a card. This is all part of our built-in culture on a day-to-day activities. We don't do once in a year. By the way, please understand, we don't celebrate Mother's Day once in a year. In our Sanatana Dharma, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Grandfather's Day, Great-Grandfather's Day is celebrated every day. It should to be every day or once in a month. Definitely. This has to be, this is a culture of Sanatana Dharma. This is what has been taught to us. Therefore, the devatas, we have to show our gratitude. Rishis, we have to show again, I am I won't be surprised if anyone at the end of this presentation is going to ask me, Prabhu, whatever you said is not as per the teachings of Prabhupada. Because you go to the pages of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, and you turn to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 47th, not first chapter. Go to the 47th, I think. I'm not able to right away find it, but Prabhupada says, anyway, we don't want to spend much time. Prabhupada will say that this Panchamaha Yagya, Sandhya Vandana Badram Astu Bhavato, not that sloka. We'll find that one. Where that once you surrender to Mukunda, then you don't need to be worried about these things. That is also true. It is not contradictory. It is true. What Prabhupada says is true. What we are discussing is also true. But is our surrender level, is that level of Prahlad? We have to question ourselves. If we are at the highest stage of bhakti, then yes, give up everything. If not, then these are all anga, the limbs to increase our bhakti and show our gratitude to Krishna in different ways. In different ways. You know, like His Holiness Romapada Maharaj says, this is an example that I always like, I always quoted several times. He says that when for the flower to become a flower, the bud to become a flower, there are different stages that the flower became, that rose became a flower, beautiful blossoming flower. That every stage of the stem, you will see a bud, right? And that bud lifts the flower to the next stage. And the next bud lifts the flower to the next stage. It is not the flower just came by itself. There were different buds helped the flower to become a flower. In our life, there are many people are involved for us to be like what we are as of now. We should not forget that in our life. Of course, if we don't show our ultimate gratitude to Krishna who was given these resources in our life, we ignore showing our gratitude and thank to by ignoring all those people part of our life, then we are not really grateful. We should not take the point that Krishna is ultimate. I ignore all those things, because if we pour the water at the root of the plant, everything nourishes. That is true. Narada Muni says this one in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very true. But one should not take that to an extreme of ignoring others. That's not what it's been told here. We always take everything into an extreme case. Soumya, please write down your question. We take all these things into an extreme case. Please understand. It's not, we have to be practical to apply the teachings of acharyas. It's very important. Otherwise, we may think that we disrespect everything, we ignore everything, only focus on one thing. That's not what it is. And also, we are not in the stage of those great rishis who can give up everything, their responsibility, duties, and they're not bound to any obligation. And only Krishna, if any of you are in that stage, then yes, you just go for it. If you're in that level of bhakti, then yes, that is all for that person. If not, then we have to be practically applying what needs to be applied in our life. Here. Therefore, the three things that we have to show our gratitude are devatas, rishis, devatas who are giving all the natural needs for us, making this environment, and the rishis who have given us the guidelines of Veda, Purana, Itihasa, and all those different scriptures, and Pitrus who brought us into this world. Therefore, these three are very important. Not only that, we also have another thing. There are fourth one. The fourth one is called not these three, also the Manushya. Manushya means humanity. Humanity. Please keep this in mind. Serving the humanity is ultimately not going to give us moksha, We have to understand we are serving the humanity in the service of Krishna. Minus whatever I'm telling now, minus Krishna will only give us good karma. That's all. Right? We have to keep Krishna as part of serving the Devata. We have to keep Krishna as a center point as we serving the rishis. We have to keep Krishna as we serve our parents. We have to keep Krishna as we serve the humanity. Therefore, it's important because the mankind is so very important. If we don't have a human, what are we going to do? Because there are many people would have helped us to become Krishna consciousness, would have helped us to become someone in our life as we are right now. Not just our parents. Outside of our parents, outside of our relatives, there could be someone else who are not even our blood, we don't even have a blood relationship. That person could have helped us in our life in many ways. Therefore, we have to show our gratitude to humanity. Whether they helped or whether they not helped is a different factor. When we say Manushya, it is not only people who have helped us. We have to go out of our way to help other people also, whether they helped us or not helped us, by keeping Krishna in the center, meaning that we help them to become Krishna consciousness. Therefore, that fourth part of showing our gratitude, giving our service to humanity is very important. And there's a last fifth one. That is Bhuta. Bhuta means not only human being, all the living entities. All the living entities. Not only human being, not only my family, not only my extended family, all the living entities. Every living entities have their space to lead their life in this world. Like how I have my way, my life to live in this, I have a right to live in this world, or whatever the right may be. Likewise, the other living entities also have their position. They have their rights to live their life in this world. And we have no rights to remove their life. We have no rights to remove their life. Rather, we have to help at least those living entities that we can help. It is also said when we have all these insects, birds, reptiles, animals, it is actually helping the ecology, the environment. They are also contributing in some way or the other to the world. They are also indirectly helping us also. Therefore, we have to feed or also take care of the other living entities. Because Krishna has given these living entities to again help us to lead our life in that sense, to have a life in this world. They are also contributing something in our life. Therefore, Deva Yagya, Rishi Yagya, Pitru Yagya, Bhuta, Manusha Yagya, Bhuta Yagya. The Lord helps us through the Devatas, through the Rishis, through the Pitru, through the humans, through the Bhutas. Therefore, we show our gratitude to all these five, keeping that Krishna is the one who was given to us. Therefore, I have to perform my duty to all of them. I have a responsibility and obligation to show my gratitude to all of them. If we don't do that one, if you don't show our gratitude to to anyone in our life for what they have given to us, Krishna gives them a title. In 3.12, Krishna gives a title to those people who do not reciprocate for what they have received from all the resources. They are called stena. Stena eva saha. Stena means thief. Ishtan bohan hi wo deva. Dashyanti yajna bhavitaha. Tair tatan aparadha apradhayebhyah. Apradhabhyah. यो भुङ्क्ते तेन एव सः. Yo bhuktasthena eva saha. Yeah. Krishna says that if you do not, one second, if you do not reciprocate for what you have received from all the devatas, then you are none other than a thief. Because why? You simply a thief because you've not written anything. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, will supply all necessities to you. This is from 3rd chapter, 12th sloka. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Is certainly a thief. And if you only eat for our own pleasure, Krishna says in the 13th sloka that the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins. That's the first part of the sloka. The second part of the sloka it says others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sins. Ye pachanti atma karanat. Ye pachanti atma karanat. Bun, bunjate te punchate te aham papa. Yeah, I'm just recollecting the sloka. Aham papa ye pachanti atma karanat. The people who only eat without offering to the Lord, they simply eat a ball of sin. Therefore, it is important that we show our gratitude as part of our Grahastha ashram to everyone, and that is why we are Grahasthas. Um, go to the Mother Earth, water, Devatas, Rishis, the other living entities, the mankind, the Pitru Varga, everyone. Right? So one has to perform their duties. And one more point before we conclude here and take some questions. This could be just part one, by the way. We may have to discuss later more based on the question that we get. We'll see how we can proceed further as we are getting close to the top of the hour here. It is all Krishna also says that Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmasva Anustithat. Krishna says one has to follow their dharma. It is better to Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha. Paradharmo Bhayavaha. Krishna says that it is better to follow one's own dharma than to follow other dharma. Even if you perform your dharma with mistakes, that is fine. But if you are trying to do others' dharma perfectly, that is not fine. Okay, that is not fine at all. That is also in the same chapter of the 3rd chapter, 35th sloka. Let me read the translation. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than others' duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in others' duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Krishna says this one. If you are a Grahastha, follow the Grahastha dharma. Don't try to become a sannyasi. Okay? If you are a sannyasi, follow a duty of a dharma of a sannyas dharma. Don't try to become a Grahastha. Don't get into try to follow Grahastha dharma. Right? So, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. It is said that if we follow a Grahastha dharma, that dharma will protect us. If you don't follow your dharma, then the same thing will destroy us. Same dharma will destroy us. Therefore, it is important that we follow the achara, the rules and regulation of behaviors, certain characters. We have to improve on our characters. We have to make some changes in our life, our behavioral changes. And how do we do what we do? How do we eat our food? How do we take our shower? How do we go to bed? How do we have our interactions and relationship with our family members and extended families and extended the devotees and so forth? Acharam, this is all has to be important. One has to follow these things very clearly. And the Grahastha ashram is very glorious ashram because the other ashrams are all depending on the Grahastha ashram. And the Grahastha ashram gives pleasure. At the same time, it comes with a heavy duty. The duty and responsibilities are a lot. And also, as the duties and responsibilities are a lot, it also gives us a certain pleasure in the Grahastha ashram life. Therefore, it goes hand in hand. There's a pleasure, there's a duty involved. If you're interested in the pleasure, then you have to make sure that the pleasure that we are having in the Grahastha ashram is as per the code of conduct as of the dharma. Then one can say we are following the Grahastha dharma. I'll just pause here and see if there's any discussions or questions for next few minutes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. The first one would be Arun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Go to
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
turn on your video at least now when you're asking questions. Or you were not in a position, that's fine.
No, not that and all, Prabhu.
Hmm.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Actually, that time, which question that I had that was answered, following this one. But one thing which I have, Prabhu, like also Prabhupada says, after the age of 50, one should, you know, uh, one after the age of 50, one should, get down from family life and, fully engage. How is that understanding, Prabhu? How
I
do
mean,
how do we?
this is the system. The system is that there are 4 stages of life, as we know: brahmacharyam, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Right. So a certain age until certain age, one studies the scriptures. That is brahmachari life. I've been told several times, just because you couldn't find the right husband or wife doesn't mean you're brahmachari. Brahmachari are those people who are studying under the guru in the ashram and getting educated. Those people are called brahmachari. Otherwise, simply because I'm not married doesn't make I'm a brahmachari. Sometimes people say, hey, your wife has gone out of town for his mother's place for 1 month. I have a wonderful brahmachari life. You cannot have a wonderful it's contradictory. Brahmachari life is not a wonderful brahmachari life. It's an austere life. I just want to add that point here. Anyway, to answer your question, there's a certain age. Until then, one is a brahmachari, and then at that point of time, the person decides whether they want to continue in pursuing further studies, being in the same ashrama, or one want to enter into the grahastha ashrama. By the blessings of the guru, one can take either path, and one can go into the grahastha ashrama. Once gets into the Grihastha ashram, he leads a life for a certain period of the time, and then one point of time he comes to a retired stage of life. Okay, now the retired stage of life where he stops doing work of whatever obligations and things that he has, that all stopped. He doesn't need to go to work and do things anymore. He has done what he's supposed to do. That is a retirement stage called vanaprastha. Vanaprastha means, it's as it said, Vanam means forest. That means you don't say in St. Louis and say you call yourself a Vanaprastha. You have to go out of St. Louis and go enter into the forest, and there with your wife who's assisting you in the forest. And wife is not complaining, here I don't have a soft bed. Can you get me a bed in the forest? Can you get me a nice shower? Can you get me a nice clothes? Then that you're making a forest into a city. So whatever is available there, the wife is assisting the husband, and husband is taking care of his wife, and they're completely meditating and dedicated in dhyana of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vanaprastha. And after a certain page, this is for men only. So the men, after a certain point of time, he decides that, okay, you want to go to the next stage of his life called sannyasa. Sannyasa means where he has to make sure that his wife is under the custody or care of someone, preferably their children, who can take care of his wife. And he comes and then continues his sannyasa order of life. Sannyasis are different types of sannyasis, but again, no sannyasis will have family. Irrespective of different types of sannyasis, no sannyasis will live in the family. Now, the point here is what Prabhupada says: plan yourself to at least mentally practice these things. We cannot go to forest. First of all, at now in this age, we cannot go to forest. Most of the forests are apartments. Our forests are destroyed now. Or if we go to the forest, there is we are not so brave to enter into the forest. There's a bears, and we don't know what's going to happen. When we go to the forest, more we'll be thinking of fear will be sitting there rather than thinking about our atma. We'll be in fear. So therefore, what Prabhupada is trying to say is prepare yourself into that consciousness. Right? So the thing is that we have to think that, my dear Lord, I'm staying here in this particular ashrama. Therefore, even in this ashrama, let me develop that consciousness of being vanaprastha. Let me develop a consciousness of being sannyas mentally. Right? That's the point has been made here. But irrespective of the messages, irrespective of which ashrama you fall into, right? Whether you're going from brahmachari to grahastha to vanaprastha to sannyasi, even staying in that particular ashrama, one can attain Krishna. One can attain moksha. That's the point here. It's not just a promotion to show ourselves the world that now I become a sannyasi. I'm promoted into sannyasi, but you still have a consciousness of a grahastha. What's the point? What's the point? Rather, you be in grahastha ashrama, you pass 15, age of 50, then you think yourself are leading a brahmachari life. Because I can't say sannyasi life, because sannyasi means you cannot be within the having wife, children, everything and stay within the house. At least you can have the consciousness of a brahmachari. That brahmacharyam should be even within the grahastha life also, by the way. That's a topic by itself. Right? But this is the point, this is a consciousness one has to develop. That help? Varun?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. And one more question, Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead.
So we discussed that, in a sperm, only like, there are a lot of atmas, only one of them, get a chance to, be successful and get a human life, right? So are the other atmas within that sperm, have they crossed all the previous, species, and then they are waiting, but still they are not getting that chance?
Yes, correct. They have gone through, if they come into if they have taken a place into the human body, as you said, in the sperm, that means they come to that point of eligibility to be born as a human, but not ready yet. There is some karma which is stopping them to get that human body. But they have come to that stage, but still there some karma is still holding them to not be successful to get a human body. That means again they have to go through the cycle of all those things and come back again. So it's very challenging, very difficult to know what is their karma and why are not taking. It's a difficult topic to discuss. We don't know. But it's
Correct.
because of their karma, they have to come to that stage, but not able to take human form. According to their karma, they have to be in that stage in the body of a man. That is their karma. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, you can ask later if you have any questions, Soumya. Soumya ji or Soumya Mataji, maybe I should call Mataji, then she will ask the question. I'm not calling
Hare
her.
Krishna Prabhuji. I didn't have like any questions. You're just like referring to the Bhagavad Gita shloka. So I said it's like 2.52.
Okay, okay. Very good. You can be a good disciple of Sujata Mataji. Become another shloka reciter. Okay. Anyone else have anything? We have another 6 more minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhuji, yeah, as we started in the beginning, like talking about varna-ashrama, I have a question, like we have to follow all our varna-ashrama rules, Prabhu, right? But coming to the social classes, Prabhu, like in this Kali Yuga, like we are not following our social class, right, Prabhu? For example, if I'm a Vaishya, I'm not following what I need to do, like the business, right, Prabhu? Like how we can understand about the social classes.
Just cry out to Krishna and tell, this is all I can do in this 2025 with all this modernized AI-driven world. I'm trying my best, Krishna. Please accept me. That's why Krishna is water on the fire. Okay? Water on the fire. So we'll do our best. We try to do our best. But here is the thing. I want to give you an example. When you achara means what do you call achar means some practices, some disciplinary things, right? Correct? Some things that we follow, whatever, right? The achar. If you're at home, you have to follow 100% of achar. This is also given by the scriptures. The guidelines are also given by the rishis. If you are out of town, you've gone to a town, then your achara can be 50% because you're not in your house. You cannot exactly follow everything that I want my own plate, I want my own bathroom, I want my own place to sleep, I want like this to sit on, do the can. You can't do expect all those things. So when you're out of your house, you're into a town or some other place, then your achara can be 50%. The guidelines, it can be okay. 50% we can do. But if you go to a city, New York City, or some other big city, Hyderabad, um, Chennai, Bangalore, whatever it is, Delhi or whatever, you go there, they're big, big cities. The achara can be 25%. Okay. Now, if you're going on a trip, travel, right, yatra, or any business trip, whatever it may be, your achara can be whatever you can do, the best. Okay. Who's given that? I'm not telling. The sages have given this. See how considerate they are. They're not telling wherever you are, 100% you have to do everything. Otherwise, you'll be, it's not that. They know the practical difficulties that you and I have. Therefore, they give all the points of do this. If you cannot do this, do this. Krishna in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is exactly doing the same thing. You do this one. If you cannot do this one. 8 verse from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th verse, you can see Krishna how beautifully telling you, do this one. If you cannot do this one, do this one. If you cannot do this one, then do this one. Likewise, sages are there giving us the same instruction. Do the best when you're at home. If you cannot do this one, you're going outside, 50%. If you cannot do that one, 25%. If you're traveling, then do the best that you could do. But now what I'm doing is, I'm so very smart, right? What I will do is, I'm living in the city now. In America, I'm city. I will pick that statement. In city means 25%. I will apply 25% and tell Krishna, be happy with my 25%. That is wrong. That is wrong. Does it make sense?
Yes,
Because I'm living in the city, I should not pick the options given where it says city equal to 25%. Apply that. That is not what the sages says. We should not find loopholes in our the exceptions that's been given to us, right? Um, for another reason, for one to do a pitru karya, right? On a certain month, on a certain year, one has to do pitru karya, right? For example, that time you cannot do. You are on a flight, or you are traveling or doing something else. What to do? You're supposed to do that one. You're not what to do that time. It says jump when you get a chance, jump on the river, raise your hand, call out and cry, Krishna, I cannot do, please forgive me. Just call out, raise your hand and call out and pray, Krishna, I'm sorry, my dear Pritrus, I'm sorry, I cannot do anything. Call out. What I do is take that as a first option. That is not right. That should be the very last option. Very last option. When someone comes to your house, right, you give them the best place to sit. Treat them nicely. Give the best food that you can give. Give them best drinks that you can drink. Give them to drink and take care of them nicely. Well, I'm not so wealthy to give them a best seat, best food. Okay, give them at least a fruit. Fruit means I have to buy and come. I don't have that much money also, Prabhuji. Okay, in your house, you have a glass of water? Yes, I can give glass of water. Prabhu, there's a water problem. Water leakage is happening. There's no water in our house. Okay, can you speak some sweet words to your guest? Sweet words, Kuchalam. Nice, sweet words. How are you doing? Thanks for coming. How's your family is doing? And nice words. Can you do that one? No one can say, I cannot do that also, Prabhu. But we should, that's the last option, not the first option. I take the last option first, then there's a problem. So therefore, it's very important how we apply the teachings, and the sages are so merciful. They've given us options in case if we cannot do this one. Only in case if we cannot do that, do this one. So I'm going to stop here. understanding that we have other services to take care. Thank you all very much for joining this morning, and you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And we'll meet again for the devotee sharing, to enjoy the devotee sharing tomorrow at 5 a.m. Central Time. Let's join. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.